Thank you for purchasing my business cost and pricing template. Congratulations! You're on your first step to organizing your business and to make sure that you're pricing your cakes for a profit. In this tutorial, I'm going to walk you through the steps to properly use my Excel sheet. Keep in mind that this is a template and you can modify and customize to whatever you desire, however it suits your business needs. Let's get started. When you first open the Excel sheet, you are going to come to a tab that says how to use this Excel sheet. Over here, I put directions step by step on how to navigate through the tabs and what to do in each tab. So over here, number 1, it says there are several tabs in this Excel file. Each tab is unique to a task, recipe, or cost. Each tab has an absolute cost or total cost highlighted in yellow. What does this mean? Let's go see one. So over here in the overhead expense, you see that the absolute overhead is highlighted in yellow. In decorating expense, the absolute total again is in yellow. These totals here are all going to be added back into this tab right here where it says total price per cake. So these values, there are 2 columns, columns A and column B, and they're highlighted in yellow. These numbers are specifically pulled and extracted from each of these tabs. So you don't do anything here. The Excel file will do it for you. So let's go back to the first tab of the explanations. These are all the values you will enter in the tab marked total cost per cake. You are not entering anything yourself. The Excel file will do it for you. Keep in mind that it is per cake and not per tier. If you want to price per tier only, make sure you write one batch in the cake expense tabs. What does this mean? Let's go into a cake expense tab. Here is the vanilla scratch cake recipe. Now over here, you're going to see the recipe expenses and the labor expenses. Column F and column E and column N both say number of batches. What does this mean? Let's say I'm going to make a 2-tier cake and I know that it's going to take 4 batches of my recipe to make this 2-tiered cake. So over here, I'm going to put my recipe and then I'm going to put 4 and my Excel sheet will calculate the total ingredient cost. So let's just say I'm going to use 8 cups of flour. Let's say my cost, I'm just going to pull out numbers. Let's say my cost per cup is $2. All right. So I said I would need, let's say for a 2-tier, I would need 6 times this. So now it's going to cost me $48 just for the flour. So if I wanted to just do 1 tier, then that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put 1 here for the tier. You calculate how much you would need per tier. And the same goes here in the labor expense on this side right here. Your setup, preparation, and cleanup, when you're entering the time, you have to calculate how much it is per batch or how long it took you completely. So the first time you do this is going to be the hardest because you have to pay attention to everything you make, but eventually with time you're going to know offhand how long it takes you to set up, prepare, and clean per project. So this will get faster and faster. So going back to the first tab, the second step here talks about the ingredient cost master sheet. So if we open up the tab here, ingredient cost master sheet, you're going to see several columns and several rows. This part here is going to be your hardest job, inputting all this information. The good news is you only do it once. So over here, column A has your ingredients. You're going to insert all the ingredients you use for your cake projects. Now, you could also enter your materials. I didn't label it as ingredients and materials, but you could definitely put it in. You have to include your cake boxes, your inserts, any material that you have a cost of, you should insert it here. So column B, you are going to insert how much all of these items cost at your supermarket, wholesale, wherever it is you're getting from. Column C is going to calculate your state tax. And if you go up here, column C, row 4, you are going to insert here what your tax rate is in your state. And once you insert that there, these columns right here are going to calculate it for you. For example, let's say my shortening is $4. I enter 4. My tax rate is 9%. It's going to be $4.36. So all the columns that you see in white are values you are going to input. All the columns you see highlighted in a color, you don't touch those. Those are the values that are calculated for you. So in column D, you have the net weight and volume of your item. So let's say your dark chocolate chips. Let's do row 7 as an example. I buy my dark chocolate chips in 5.5 pound bags. So if here, my net weight volume of the bag is 5.5 pounds. In column E, I insert pound as my type for the weight volume. The serving size, though, is 1 pound. So in column F, I'm going to put 1. And in column G, I'm going to put pound. Now, in this case, the serving size and the net weight are the same value. They're both pounds. So in column H, I'm going to insert 1. Column I calculates my servings per container. Column J calculates my price per serving. Now, let's say that there is, let's take heavy cream, okay? Let's say that my heavy cream costs $3.99 and my net volume is 1 pint, okay? So it's 1 pint is 473 milliliters, all right? So the serving size, though, is 1 tablespoon. So 1 tablespoon is 15 milliliters. Here, let's do this. Serving size says 1 tablespoon. Okay? So how do you know how much is in a tablespoon? Well, right here in row 3, I give you a servings converter. So you click on that, and it takes you to a kitchen calculator, and you enter your weight. Now, if you're going to start with 1, and we want tablespoon, which is up here, and we want to convert that to milliliters. We press convert, and it tells you right here, 1 tablespoon is 14.78 milliliters, which I'm going to round to 15, which means that now we know that there are 15 milliliters. So when you do the online conversion, you saw that there were 15 milliliters in 1 tablespoon. So right here in column H, you're going to insert 15. Okay? So now in row I, it tells you how many servings per container there are, and it says 31.53, which is roughly 32 servings, which matches up to the conversion. So over here, column H, you're going to insert the conversion rate. Okay, so again, 1 tablespoon has 15 milliliters. So we're converting to milliliters for this example. If any of this is confusing, feel free to email me your questions at shakarbakery.com. Email me at shakarbakery@gmail.com. Okay, so let's go to the next. In the overhead expense, there are 2 boxes for you. One is the utility and rent expenses. This is everything that you are paying for with your cottage food business. Now, the mortgage of your place, that one with the taxes, you can't really write off all of your mortgage rent. You have to calculate how much you're using. But for your day-to-day, since you want to pay off your mortgage with the business, I would highly recommend you inserting your entire rate in here, because if you're trying to live off of this business, you need to know how much you need to make. So Again, all the columns that are in white are the ones that you are going to input information in. You do not touch the columns that are highlighted. So let's say the electricity, my monthly bill is roughly $100. My gas bill is $15. My water is paid for by my landlord. My cell phone is $90. My internet is $60, and my rent is $500. So my totally utility expense per day is $25. Okay. So over here on the right side, there's time spent on inventory purchases for supplies. So over here, you're going to put how much time you spent every day of the week buying inventory. And over here on column G, you're going to put an hourly wage. If you're the one buying and you're the business owner, you have to decide how much you're going to charge for your time. I pay myself $40 an hour, but that's because the California minimum wage is $15 an hour. So if I have an employee buying this, though, I would put $15 per hour. And let's say on Monday they spend 60 minutes buying inventory. So right now my total cost for that employee was $15 for the week, and per day it's $2. So over here, if you look up top here in the yellow, my total overhead per day is $27. Let's say that employee spends 30 minutes on Tuesday. They spend 25 minutes on Wednesday. Thursday, they didn't do anything. And on Friday, they had to do a quick errand for me for 10 minutes. So now my weekly cost for that employee is $31, and my per day is $4.46. So now my total overhead is $29.96. So if you go back to the total price per cake, you're going to see that every time I'm inputting something, my value is changing, right? So you're going to go through every single tab. The decorating expense, you're going to put all of your supply expenses here for your fondant, floral tape, powdered sugar, whatever it is you're including for your decoration. You're going to put the ingredients, how much you're using, your weight and volume, and your cost per serving, which you're going to get from the ingredient costs tab, the master sheet cost. So then on the right hand, here is your labor expense. How much time did you spend decorating? So you're going to put up the setup, how long it took you to fill and frost the cake, cover the cake with fondant, sculpt the details, how long did it take you to clean. All these things matter. And over here in this purple box, you're going to insert your hourly wage. Okay, so that's very important. The recipe tabs are for you to insert. So the vanilla scratch cake recipe, I have that here. I have one for chocolate. I have one for box cake, buttercream, and chocolate ganache. And they all follow the same concept. You're going to insert your recipe expense and then again your labor expense. One thing I recommend is for you to make one for every single recipe. So over here I put tabs just to give you a guidance. But you could just do a vanilla one, and then you go here and you go to save as, and you go into Excel workbook and you rename it as my vanilla cake and this design. So you're free to use this template in however you want. So the cool part is when you're calculating your total price per cake, since all of my tabs include an hourly, you are already paying yourself with this final price of the cake because you already accounted your labor, your overhead, and how much time you're spending for everything. Decorating, the recipe, your overhead. So this master template will definitely give you an idea of how much you should be charging. And if you're charging below that, then you are not making your profit. Something that you could also use this template for is to see where you're spending too much time on so that you can learn to maximize that time. Like, why is it taking you, for example, an hour to set up for your cakes? Maybe you could do that in a better way. Maybe you can maximize the time you spend cleaning up because you won't make as much of a mess while you're working. Anyway, it's a good template to have because it'll teach you a lot about your business. But thanks again for making this purchase. Feel free to ask me any questions. I'm here by email, shakarbakery@gmail.com. And I hope that this will definitely help you with your business and that all the tools that are in this Excel sheet will teach you how to properly price your cakes. Thanks again.